Support for Radio Friends comes from LeBrunerie Financial, where they work to ensure a lifetime of financial security for people from all walks of life, from investment services to retirement plans. If you're looking for a trustworthy company that has the experience and knowledge to put your interests first, contact LeBrunerie Financial, a community-based investment counseling firm since 1966. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, April the 24th. We have Heather Harlan with us from the Columbia-Boone County Public Health and Human Services Department.
Yes.
And last time you were on, we were talking about drugs.
Right. And we're going to talk about some special needs in our community today, too. It's in the form of an event that's coming up in just a couple of weeks.
Okay.
The first full week in May is Children's Mental Health Week. And so we have a little event. This will be our third year here in Columbia to have an event at the Shelter Fountain over the noon hour, where we have a mayor's proclamation declaring that week Children's Mental Health Week. Mm-hmm. And it will be at Shelter Fountain on Wednesday, May 10th.
Okay.
12:15 to 12:50. Like, come, right. Jump out of your car and come.
Right. So this will be for Children's Mental Health Week.
Right.
Right. How big of a problem is good mental health for kids?
Well, this is our society and our culture has changed so much over recent years. And with COVID, there's a lot of things that children have needed to adjust to. And it's too fast for human beings to adjust that quickly in normal development.
Yeah, so because kids, when we went into the COVID lockdown, right. Everything changed for these kids.
Right.
They were used to being able to play with their friends. They were used to going to school, having their social events, and then all at once, it came to a stop.
Right. And so what we want to do in this event on Wednesday, May 10th at Shelter Fountain, starting at 12:15, we want to raise awareness of those special needs of children. They're not adults. Even teenagers that are taller than you are not adults. And we want to celebrate and honor families for their hard work and devotion to doing the best they can and bringing up their children and trying to support their children. And finally, we want to honor and recognize the professionals in our community for their expertise and their personal care of helping children.
Okay. Now, how do we know? How can you tell if a young person is in distress and needs some help?
Three things quickly. ILL. ILL. The intensity. How intense is it? The problem, whether they're not sleeping or they're irritable. How intense is the behavior you're concerned about? Length of time, how long has it lasted? 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months? And then finally, how does it limit? Is it limiting the child's experience with work or with school? So at the event that we're going to have it again at Shelter Fountains. It'll be 12:15. The Columbia-Boone County Public Health and Human Services, NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness in Columbia, and the Children's Grove are working to sponsor this event. We have a lot of agencies involved that are going to come out. Participants, we're going to ask them to wear green. The other thing we're doing differently is we're going to ask them to bring a bell.
Why the bell?
There's also a national observance called Ring for Hope. And the idea that people with mental health conditions used to be chained up. And so now they're free to live with their families in the community.
Wait a minute, back up here.
Yes.
People who had mental health conditions in the past?
Yes, Paul.
Were chained up?
Yes. You're not
literally
aware of that.
In chains?
So we're celebrating.
Not in this country.
Yes. So take a look at the history of mental health, so just a few hundred years ago. So we're observing that people now can live with their families and not be locked in asylums, and we can do treatment for them.
So people who had mental health, how long ago was this?
A couple hundred years.
They would be chained up?
Yes. Maybe less than 100, yes.
And what was the determining factor of whether they were going to be chained up or not?
I don't know. I'm not working on the history of mental health in the past right now. I'm looking at what we're observing and what's available now.
So obviously people are not going to be chained up. So what is available for people
Well,
with
we
mental
have
health?
sometimes medication for people and counseling. Both of those help. Community supports, and that's what we're going to talk about more at the event on May 10th.
Mm-hmm.
We're also asking people to wear green so that people are growing and vital in the community. We're asking people, we're going to be passing out green ribbons. We're going to, some of the businesses here in town are going to light up green. The city key will be lit up green, shelter fountains, Missouri Employers Mutual, our Gateway Plaza will be lit up green. And
the significance of the green is?
That it's growing, the possibilities for people, even if they live with a mental health situation, the possibilities for people. And it's all of May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay.
So if people want to
participate, not just for young people, but
right. But this is specifically for Children's Mental Health Week. The mayor has written a proclamation declaring that week.
What do you see as the biggest problem for young people and good mental health?
I think there isn't just one, Paul. The problem is it's been a perfect storm of difficulties and changes that we've had to ask people to maneuver, and they need help. So looking for our continued support, professional, but also families need help to figure out on that front line of how best to support. And we're asking agencies that want to participate in this, even if they can't come to the event, they can send pictures. They could light up green. They can light up green in their own home. We have a number of people that are doing that. Maybe maybe it's a child care provider that has their children do some coloring pages. Mm-hmm. But they can participate in this event.
Let me ask you just a hypothetical thing. Let's say somebody listening or watching right now, they've got a very rebellious young child. How do you know if that is a mental health problem or if that child is just rebelling because they're stubborn and they want to have their way?
I'm going to go to the same thing I did before, ILL, intensity, length of time, and how much does it limit.
So if this is just a short-term thing, if they have a little fit because they didn't get their way,
right,
and then they're back.
But that's different than punching a hole in the wall and they attack you and you have to call the police. So looking at the difference. And then also for parents to look at how am I approaching my child? So we as parents can begin by looking at what we're doing, what we can change, because to expect the child to change, these are brains that aren't mature. So we're more in a position to change our behavior to see if we can get a better outcome. And it's age appropriate for teenagers to want to push back. So we find ways, is there a different way? Maybe you need professional help, but that's the place to start. I would encourage people, if you think your child might need some help, is to start with your pediatrician.
Can they contact the Boone County,
yes.
Columbia-Boone County?
The best thing, and maybe is even to email me, heather.harlan, HARLAN, at como.gov, heather.harlan at como.gov. And please be at the fountain, May 10th, Shelter Fountain. If it's a rain date, we'll be at the Ark.
Okay. But if you want more information, you can email Heather at the Columbia-Boone County Public Health and Human Services Department. And if you didn't get that, just Google it.
That's right. You sure can.
And if you have a rebellious young child, think of the intensity of it. If it goes away, it's probably just they're not happy with something.
Or join us May 10th and come celebrate teenagers.
Okay, you got it. Heather, thank you so much for
You're
coming
welcome.
by. Pleasure
Thanks,
having
Paul.
you here. If there's something that you would like to hear or see, I'd love to hear from you. Drop me an email. That's pepperp@missouri.edu. Bye-bye.